Hi there, KT here, Lantern Mindfulness Practice over on A Growing Knowing, my YouTube channel. We're doing another drop, and this particular drop is going to be on boundaries. And so it is snowing like crazy. I'm all bundled up here in the house, and I got my puzzle table set up. I'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges that I'm having with just really the actual solitude. I've never experienced this level of solitude before, and what I'm doing about it, kind of where I'm at. And so the flash for me was boundaries. So let's talk about the Lantern, a mindfulness practice in our 5 steps. So waking up with gratitude, find things that are working in our day and focus on those. Meditation, spend moments trying to quiet your system, calm yourself down. And once you get a sense of that, you'll be amazed at how good it feels moving forward to try and find moments in your day to just give yourself a little bit of a reset. Nice deep breaths. Allow your system to calm down a bit. Unwind. Let those tensions alleviate. And then figure out more and more ways that you can do that for longer periods of time, where you can really quiet the mind and allow some of that inner wisdom to start to come in. Journaling, great way to do that. Speaking of inner wisdom, find a part in your day where you can journal for 10 minutes. End of the day is really where I started, was before I went to bed. I felt like if I could kind of empty the contents of my head, that I stood a better chance of sleeping. And so I started to do that. Just kind of how my day went, how I felt about it. Once you start going, you'll kind of get your own prompts. And one of the things that we're going to do on the channel is start to post some journal prompts to get some things going. Some thought-provoking things that maybe can help you explore some of your caves and, kind of align with next steps and some purpose. And then move around outside. We got snowy times out there. We're in it. And so I'm doing a little self-care by just really resting. There's been a lot going on with the energy that's coming in, and especially located here in Shasta. I mean, I think it's just super amplified. Like, I'm getting hammered. I'm crying. I can't sleep. Heavy stuff's coming in. Yeah, a lot of contractions and spasms and shuddering and a lot of stuff going on. And I'm incredibly grateful for it. And so I'm giving myself the grace of rest. I'm coming out of a little bit of a cold, an allergy reaction, I think. And so trying to take care of my body, doing some stretching, but mainly resting. And then self-care. So boundaries. So I'm going to talk a little bit about boundaries. And I recorded one earlier, and I'm inspired to re-record it. I don't think I'm coming at it from the compassionate side. I think that's where I need to be on this. So boundaries. There's ways to do it and all kinds of information out there. And I think where I'm going to spend my time is why it's important for you and how hard it's going to be. It's going to be hard. And I think a lot of the people that if you're identifying with this content, you're akin to a people pleaser in some form or fashion. Disappointing people is difficult. You think that there are conditions around love and your behavior. How useful are you is a gauge of how much love you've earned, that kind of stuff. And putting boundaries down is perceived as kind of stirring the pot. Right? Like stepping into some tension. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o, we're going to have some drama. KT's putting down boundaries over here. Watch out. Oh, she's got a whole bushel of them. And so I kind of want to step off of that a little bit. And I think what I want to talk about it from the standpoint is, if you can start with just kind of thinking about the boundaries that you want to put around to just protect yourself a little bit, early goings, right? I think that maybe if you come at it from a compassionate side where I'm going to need to protect my peace and my space and come up with ways to allow myself to feel safe and settle down a little bit, do my meditations, do my journaling, How am I going to be able to do that? And maybe those boundaries kind of start with, I'm going to put a protective place around my practice. I'm going to put some boundaries around my practice. I'm going to communicate to those that I live with or care about, whatever situation you're in, whatever it is that you need, for your kind of daily mindfulness practice, whatever you're implementing, akin to these 5 things or not. What do you do to protect it? How long does it take? How long do you need? Where do you want to do it? And kind of what are some of the conditions? Like, I don't want the kids sitting outside the door. I don't want the cat doing this under the door. Kind of stuff. Like, can you help me create a time and a space where all of this is possible, right? And start to do it from the standpoint of just self-care. And then the other is, back in an earlier, we did loosen the grip. I can't remember what drop it was, loosen the grip, where kind of pay attention to what you're signing on for and why. Let's kind of circle back to that with some boundaries too. So where are you expending your energy? Not what is it that you're doing and who are you accommodating. Just start paying attention to, where does your energy go? And are you kind of using it well? Are you allocating it to the right spots? Is it in the positive areas of your life? Is it with kind of those crab bucket people? The crab bucket people. I think I've mentioned it on a video. If I haven't, there's an old man walking past a fisherman, and he notices this beautiful bucket of crab that the fisherman has caught. And he says to the fisherman, "What a beautiful bucket of crab. You better be careful and cover it." And the fisherman said, "Don't worry. They won't allow it. I don't have anything to worry about." And the man thought, that's weird, and observed. And sure enough, for hours, those crabs would pull down any of those other crabs that were trying to get out of the bucket, the other crabs would pull them down. And so you start to are you spending energy in the crab bucket? Are you worrying about what other people are thinking? Like, start to pay attention to where your energy is going. What is it that you're spending your time on that you could pull back a little bit and put some boundaries around and in place for too, right? Like, just self-care. The boundaries of what can I do to improve my self-care? And that therefore extends to, improved peace of mind. The boundaries with others will come later. I think you've got to start to practice how to set them up just for your self-care. And, the argument could be made that the boundaries are self-care. Absolutely. But if it's difficult for the people pleasers to, it's got to be egregious behavior if I'm going to put a boundary down. And certainly if I'm going to have a conversation about it. And so I think that this is a good way for us to kind of practice how we can do boundaries. And we can also start to really practice it. What happens when we expend our energy in other areas than in the toxic relationships in our lives? Right? Do those relationships start to fall off a bit? Do we have to worry less about maybe putting some boundaries in place with those relationships? Because by sheer example of not feeding it, not watering it, not giving it my energy, it's naturally starting to fall off and come to its natural conclusion. Can also be encouraging, like, all right, I'm not running uphill, expected to throw boundaries down everywhere in order to protect myself and the hard work I've done. Like, there's a lot of collaboration that goes into it that helps you kind of move through the lessons you need to move through, but not stack you up with doer, right? I think you require some grind and you got to have some hustle and some lean in, but I think the more is to fling yourself into the abyss, only to later learn that it's a feather bed, but to fling yourself nonetheless. Yeah, boundaries are going to be tricky. And I think there's a way to just begin to practice. And what you'll find is that as you lean in, what's meant for you will find you. Your next steps will become clear. You'll be able to do the things that you need to be able to do at the time that you need to be able to do them. You won't be asked to do anything you're not ready. You'll be forced into discomfort if that's part of the plan. And generally speaking, boundaries provide some discomfort. But that enables you to decide, am I worth it? Know thy worth. Tolerance. So that was our last drop. So I encourage you to kind of, think a little bit about what are ways that I can really set myself up to feel as good as possible. How can I start to enable myself to prepare for what's coming and give myself the space for what's going to be required to do it? A lot of time alone, right? So next steps for the lantern, because we'll talk about our next steps. I'm in it with the solitude. I haven't had this much solitude in my life ever. And, I was alone all last year, but I was super busy. I was planning and all of that. And now I have found that the things that distract me are being stripped away. And I am left here at the core, at the heart of what spending time by myself really means. And what I'm realizing is that as uncertain and scary as it's been for me with these relationships that used to hold such value and esteem for me to be falling off in a way, for me to spend more and more of my time alone, like I haven't attracted my tribe yet. I think I'm still in the in-betweens where I'm still getting where I'm getting to the point where what I wants me, and through my worth and what I'm willing to do with boundaries around that. So I think I'm starting, and then my patience and my willingness to accept the uncertainty of what the universe has in store for me next. Like, it's just such an interesting space to be in. And I've got all the time in the world to think about it. And so I am. I'm like really getting philosopher on. I just really am, like spending time with the moments that present themselves to me and really giving a lot of thought to self-care. Taking care of myself. Man, I am happier than I've ever been. I am clearer than I've ever been. I did not know what I thought my resting state was. I was operating at such a tight wound level. I cannot believe that that's how I was surviving for more than 50 years. And now I'm in a position where I really want to protect my peace, and I'm very careful about it. And I'm realizing the more that I accept that time alone is what I need, and that this is a gift that not many others can. I mean, I am very aware at how unique my circumstance is, and I'm very grateful for it. And so I'm making the most of it. And I'm becoming like a really good fucking buddy to me. I'm enjoying my company. And I'm also spending a lot of time dismantling my belief system about being alone and that there's something wrong with it. Loser, kind of stuff, right? Because I spent a lot of time alone as a kid, a lot of time alone. And I was very lonely. And the time that I spent as that child in those moments was focused on what I was doing wrong, right? Why I was alone, why I wasn't good enough, what I could do to be better. So that time alone was not pleasant. And now, the time alone that I've got now is like I'm watching what I want, I'm listening to what I want, I'm doing what I want, going through weird sleep stuff, like adjusting my sleep schedule to accommodate these weird, energetic, like I'm going to bed at 9, understand that I'll probably be awake at 3 and I probably won't go back to sleep, and so I'll take a nap. Like I'm just really kind of taking care of myself. Hey, checking in, what can I do for you? I'm really amazed at the compassion that I find for myself and what I'm willing to do to protect it. It's powerful stuff. And so, you know, kind of consider it through that lens. Do the research on how to do it and why it's important and what the benefits are. But I really think that from that standpoint, I wish you well. I do. I wish you well. Safe journeys. You got this. You can do this. Keep going. Keep going. It's not easier, but it's a whole lot better. All right. Be well, friends. Safe journeys.